Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Shukisha mse.
Hapa hakuna stage.
Wala shukisha ama mimi tapiga nduru na pesa yako msilibi.
Mimi sitaki kisirani. Shuka.
Thank you.
Shuka.
Bora. Wacha nipigia mtu wangu wa insurance akuje washughulikie.
Mtasign hizi forms. In a few weeks time mtakuwa mmepata fidia yenu. Poleni sana.
Kwani kampuni ya IEBC ilifungwa?
Unataka kusema hatutapata pesa?
Wewe na hizo tu unaangalia namna hiyo.
Policyholders Compensation Fund PCF ilibuniwa ili kufidia wadai wa kampuni ya bima ambayo imewekwa katika usimamizi wa kisheria au leseni yake imebatilishwa. Iwapo umejaza claim forms na insurance ikakubali kulipa lakini ikafungwa, tembelea tovuti ya www.pcf.go.ke kisha ufuate taratibu za kujaza claim na utasaidika kupata fidia. Policyholders Compensation Fund, dhamana ya bima yako.
President William Ruto is currently overseeing the installation of a chancellor at the Cooperative University in Nairobi County. Those are among the stories we're keeping an eye at this hour. Do join us in the next for the next 1 hour or so to get the latest in the country and beyond our borders. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Mora. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 1 as well. And we start off with the preparations for the Madaraka Day celebration set to be held on the May 15th, where the newly constructed Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay County will officially be handed over on May 15th for this year's Madaraka Day celebration set to take place in the region. Now, during an expansion tour at the facility, Internal Security Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo said close to 10,000-seater stand is nearly complete, and the contractor has confirmed that the stadium will be ready to hand over in mid-May. Omolo was accompanied by a section of leaders from Homa Bay County, including the Governor Gladys Wanga.
As well as the adjacent amenities. So this stadium will be ready for handover on the 15th of May, and we have the confirmation from the contractors, and we appreciate the work that has gone into getting this done. Then we also visited the Pyre. You remember that the Madaraka Day celebrations of this year is on the blue economy. So as part of preparations for this, there was a Pyre and the other facilities related to the theme of the conference.
The airport is not going to fold after Madaraka Day. And what the airport means is that we'll be able to land much larger planes, and now we are going to be able to receive a lot of tourists and other persons coming to Homa Bay without hassle. And speaking to the theme of this year's Madaraka Day, which is the blue economy, which is our major mainstay, we hope we'll have conversations around maritime and the pier that has already been done and is continuing to be done. But we'll also be speaking on the issues that affect our fishermen.
Let's move over to Kiambu County, where drama ensued at the Limuru market in Kiambu County after bees attacked traders and their customers. The attack that took place at 2 p.m. left several traders and their customers nursing injuries, including swollen eyes and lips.
Safety. While some escaped the painful sting, others were unlucky. Still in shock, they narrate their ordeal.
Tukiendelea ikafika saa 8 ndio tukaona watu wakikibishana. Saida walikuwa wanakibishana, tukajiuliza ni nini. Kutoka saa hiyo ndio hiyo choke ikaingia kwa soko, ikatuvuruga sisi wote, hata wengine wameumia.
Nyuki zimekuja tu once hii masaa 8 zimeanza kuchapa watu bure, kukimbiza watu. Tunapata tu hata ujaziuliza kitu unasikia tu umeumwa huko. Nimepigwa tu hapa.
Zilikuwa mingi sana, zimetuma huku mikono, kwa shingo, sijui kama naona zinapenda karayero, so sijui zilifanya zikanivamia.
The traders were forced to use smoke to send the bees away, and after hours of concerted efforts, normalcy returned at the busy market.
Tunaweza kuwa na mtu anaweza kusaidia sisi na mambo kama hiyo kifanyika. Juu hakuna mwenye amekuja kurespond hata nani. Watu wameumia sana hapa. Kama sisi ukiangalia huko tumeumia sana, kichwa tumepigwa hapa sana na nyuki. Na ile maneno imetupata hapa tujaiona. Tumefahamiwa karibu masaa mawili na hakuna mwenye amerespond hata nani.
Dansio Kware, Lunchtime News.
And in other news, Busia County Commissioner Mwachonga Chunga has issued a stern warning to residents involved in vandalizing steel water pipes. Addressing locals at the Buswabo area, Mwachunga termed the vandalism of the pipes meant for the Lower Sewer irrigation scheme as economic sabotage. The 2.5 billion shilling scheme that has since stalled was launched in 2011 with a target of benefiting 2,000 households in 4 constituencies.
Karibu sana, tuendelee.
Karibu sana. Wale wahalifu tutadili na wao kama serikali ruthlessly, kwa sababu hakuna njia serikali itaweka mradi wa 2.5 billion alafu watu waanze kuwaharibu tu na sisi tukae tu tukiangalia. Hiyo haiwezekani. Wale ambao waliiba na wakapona ni bahati yao, lakini sasa wewe kama ni mwizi, nataka kukuhakikishia kwamba hautapona.
Hawa suspects ambao wameshikwa tu 3, ukifika kesho ikwishe, kama National Irrigation Board hajakuja kuandika statement, watawachiliwa. Na kiwachiliwa, kila mtu ataenda kuchimba hiyo pipe.
Also, a Malindi constituency is set to get its first batch of affordable houses and a new medical training center after a proposal to annex 20 acres of land belonging to the Malindi High School for projects received overwhelming support from the locals. The State Department for Housing is planning to construct about 500 affordable housing units at a cost of about 2.5 billion shillings, while the Kenya Medical Training College will build a campus and return the high school as well as the neighboring Muyeye and Karima comprehensive schools will receive major facelifts through projects totaling about 180 million shillings immediately after the memorandum of understanding is signed between the State Department of Housing and the Malindi High School Board of Management.
Hawa watu wanasema ya kwamba watakuja kujenga gorofa ya administration block. Ili gorofa ya juu pale kuwe kuna library. Watoto wa Malindi High wakitaka kusoma kwa privacy, wao wanapanda kule juu kabisa.
Kuna wakati mwafaka and it's the best time kujua ya kwamba Malindi constituency imeingia kwa ile mgao wa pesa za affordable housing.
Education stakeholders have urged parents to be proactive in their children's education, saying that collaboration between teachers, parents and students play a key role in strengthening the education system in the country. Additionally, they have urged them to ensure the safety of their children as they travel back to school for the reopening of the second term. Addressing the media, the head of Teacher Technology Primary School, Beatrice Washira, disclosed that they have prepared well for the second term, urging the government government to release capitation in time for the smooth running of the institutions.
Tumejitayarisha vizuri. Term 1 tuliendelea sana na syllabus. This term tuna expect kumaliza syllabus by the month of June. Kutoka hapo Julai kuendelea ni revision, ndio tujitayarisha kwa mtihani wa mwisho wa mwaka. Kwa wazazi na washikadau wengine, ningewaomba sana masomo ya CBC ni masomo ya wanafunzi, parental involvement and stakeholders at large. Tusaidiane sana ndio CBC iweze kuwa masomo bora kwa wanafunzi wetu.
Now, a fierce dispute has erupted between a mother and an estranged biological father of a 13-year-old girl who was tragically attacked to death by a lioness in Kajiado County. The controversy centers on funeral arrangements for the young girl, with both parties claiming the right to lay her to rest.
Peace Mwende, a grade 7 pupil at Olo Sirikon Primary School,
Well, we do apologize for that particular story. As and when it is ready once more, we'll be playing it for you in regards to the loss of that 13-year-old girl who died due to an attack by a lioness. But of course, we'll be informing you on other stories also making headlines in regards to that as well. Now, players in the tourism and the hospitality sector have been urged to diversify into culinary tourism to enhance Kenya's tourism sector and stimulate economic growth. Farisi Premium CEO, who was speaking to KBC Channel 1, says integrating authentic Kenyan cuisine into tourism experiences could attract a broader range of visitors and provide a sustainable avenue for growth. The call aligns with the government's ongoing efforts to diversify tourism products beyond traditional attractions. He said food tourism has the potential to offer authentic, immersive experiences that resonate with travelers seeking cultural enrichment through cuisine.
To begin to sell our local cuisine and be proud of it, because there is global entry of this particular cuisine. The second thing, when we look at some of the, even when it comes to the sports, and these are the biggest brands, Kenyan is known for athletics. This is one of the things you put it outside there. You look at many athletes, anytime they're celebrating, they have that mursik. And we all know you can't do mursik without ugali. So we are trying to sell a whole ecosystem that from the farm to the finish line.
Now, concerns are mounting in Busia County, where a private developer is accused of encroaching on a land belonging to Busia Polytechnic. A local MCA has now stepped in to stop the ongoing construction that has already begun.
Tensions flared at Busia Polytechnic after Buhayo Central MCA Tony Onyango halted construction work that had begun on what is believed to be public land.
Nitafanya kazi kama wananchi walinituma mimi mwenyewe. Ndio nimekuja hapa na bomoa na vijana wa chache ambao wako hapa hii. Na tumesasa subiri mtu yote ambaye apie hapa aseme hii ni sehemu zake, hakuna.
A private developer is said to have moved in overnight and started laying a concrete foundation on a section of the institution's main campus. Onyango revealed that he was alerted by concerned members of the public who notified construction activities happening suspiciously at night.
Wale ambao wanahusika kunyang'anya shamba serikali, tunaomba ikuwe ni onyo. Hiyo si kitu ya maana. Shamba zile kunyakua ni makosa makubwa sana. Hiyo kaunti ya Busia imekuwa imezidi kila mahali. Shamba kama hii imekaa muda mrefu, na sasa unakunyakua mali ya serikali ambao unajua kama kuna polytechnic hapa, kuna hospitali hapa kando. Wewe ukinyakua unamaanisha nini?
Attempts to get official county comment on the matter have so far been unsuccessful. Local residents voiced their frustration, saying land grabbing has become a recurring issue in Busia particularly in border areas. With the construction now on hold, pressure is mounting on county officials to take swift action and clarify ownership of the land.
Still on land matters, residents of Kwale County are calling for urgent action to resolve the long-standing land issues in the coastal region, which they say have caused them sleepless nights. They allege that their land has been illegally taken by powerful individuals who are using police to forcefully evict them whenever they seek justice. The residents are calling for the development of concrete strategies to address the coastal land problem, claiming that both the current and the previous governments have turned a blind eye to the issue.
Tuchukua mashamba mpaka sasa sisi tunapata dhiki sana. Mahoteli huko mabichi yamechukuliwa na watu walio na pesa. Ardhi ni yako, lakini mtu amejenga hoteli yake. Na ukijaribu hapo mahala, wewe ndio utakwenda ndani.
Akitaka urais inawezekana, lakini kwanza angalie tatizo sugu la hapa Pwani. Tatizo sugu linaloumiza vijana. Ikulu ataenda kwa nguvu yetu sisi, tutampeleka. Lakini anapofika kule afanye kazi na kutujali.
Tunasikiza watu wa Ukunda ile mambo ambayo, ile maneno ambayo inasumbua watu wa Ukunda. Maneno ambayo wanaweza taka isuluhishwe na national government.
Residents of Malaria have been cautioned against the construction of the premises in the Riparian land. The warning came days after landslide claimed 2 lives along the river Malaria. A perimeter wall belonging to Utalii College also collapsed in the process. On Wednesday, Utalii College and area administration are led by the delegation that included the DCC chiefs and area MCA toured the area, only to find out that people have already constructed on the Riparian land that was reclaimed recently. The area's DCC said the place was once a quarry that now has loose walls and, of course, working on modalities to secure the place and avoid further loss of life. Sentiments echoed by the college chairman, David Wamatasi, and the area MCA calling for an alternative shelter to the already congested Madaraka slums.
We are looking for a solution jinsi tutatoa watu na jinsi tutaweka hiyo retainer wall isiwe ikipasuka. Tunataka kuambia hawa wasikaribia hapo. Tutakuja na emergency team, kama utakuwa umerudi hapo tutakutoa, na ni mzuri chitoe kuliko kukutoa.
Sisi kama body nimeona hii si shida yetu peke yetu, na problem maisha wa Kenya tutajihusisha na other agencies zote tuhakikishe kwamba maisha ya watu haipotee.
Na opportunities zile tuko nazo, hata kama ni 1-2, tutaomba maybe Utalii College ichukue hata kama ni mtoto moja atoke hii kijiji, yes, na aweze kusimamishwa pale afanye asome, yes, na akimaliza arudi aambie wengine. Sisi pia sio majirani mabaya.
Kwa niaba ya watu wa Madaraka 4A, mimi naomba serikali watu wache hapa, tuko na shida zetu, wakuje tu wakutusaidia, lakini wasilete shida nyingine. Sawa.
Now, the government, through the Ministry of Health, has been urged to develop clear guidelines and policies supporting the integration of drug users into their families and society to promote their inclusion and reduce drug dependency. Speaking at a hotel in Kiambu County, stakeholders emphasized that adaptation, innovation and a strong commitment to enhancing healthcare access for people who use drugs are also key to the war on drug abuse. They noted that every intervention will provide valuable guidance for policymakers and healthcare providers aiming to replicate or enhance similar programs.
Because we realized that with the injection behavior, then there comes a risk of HIV infection. Because these PWADs in the dens and in these spots, they tend to share needles. And hence the national program found it important to initiate interventions that by saying we call them harm reduction. There are strategies to ensure that they don't transmit the HIV infections.
We've had very successful stories of recovered persons who've been able to go through the recovery process Currently, I can state we have more than 250 members who have gone through the process of recovery, have been reintegrated back to the communities, and have economic activities that are able to sustain their lives.
Elsewhere, a fierce dispute has erupted between a mother and an estranged biological father of a 13-year-old girl who was tragically attacked to death by a lioness in Kajiado County. The controversy centers on funeral arrangement for the young girl, with both parties claiming the right to lay her to rest.
Coco's sublocation. She had been visiting her biological father, who works on the expansive property bordering the Nairobi National Park.
Mtoto aliniomba ruhusa akaenda kusalimia mwenye alimzaa, tulizaa naye. Na Thursday akakaa, Friday, Saturday, Sunday ndio walitumana niletewe report.
Her grieving mother, Elizabeth Mawia, says she was never married to or cohabited with the man, yet he is now attempting to take over funeral arrangements and allegedly pushing to have the girl buried in Eldoret against her wishes and those of the maternal family.
Napeleka mtoto kwetu kwa sababu huyu hatukukaa naye. Ni ile tukukutana na tukazaa. Hakuna siku tulikaa naye hata siku moja. Na wakati nilipata mimba, huyo mwanamume alienda na akiendanga. Mtoto nimelea peke yangu mpaka pali amekuja kuniacha.
Her brother, Peter Katumbi, believes the sudden interest in the funeral is linked to a possible Kenya Wildlife Service compensation given the nature of the tragedy.
Sister yangu amelea huyu mtoto peke yake. Sasa nashindwa kwa nini saa hii ameanga wanaingilia. Mawazo yangu nafikiria na ile benefit they are expecting from the government that's supposed to pay the beneficiary. They want to take that one. Si ati wako na nia nzuri ya mama mwende. Kwa hiyo saa hii tumejitayarisha, lakini bado wanajaribu kuzuia. Kwa hivyo tunaomba, kwa sababu anjiwezi, tunaomba serikali ingilie hii maneno. Kwa sababu sisi tunataka kupumzisha huyu msichana.
Now, in other news, the State Department for Technical and Vocational Education and Training has officially launched a new training program to equip the recognition of prior initiatives. Now, also speaking during the launch of the Nyeri National Polytechnic, Principal Secretary at the Nyeri National Polytechnic, that is Dr. Esther Moria, described the program as a major step in strengthening the capacity of TVET institutions to recognize and certify skills acquired through informal and non-traditional methods. The initiative aims to train 266 assessors from the Mount Kenya region.
Not certified. We want to bring them to all our institutions across the country, and we want to assess them. We assess every skill that they possess so that we are able to certify them, and that will advantage them because they can go anywhere now in the world and be able to get engagement to work across the world, or they can be able to apply for government tenders or anything else that certificate enables you to do, just like any other certificate.
Elsewhere, youths are encouraged to seek guidance from education experts to identify skill-based courses that align with their career goals and aspiration. The call was made by education stakeholders during the Nairobi Region Peer Learning Festival at the Thogoto Teachers Training College in Kiambu County. The education stakeholders also commended Compassion International Kenya for fostering meaningful dialogue between the youth and the education experts.
in our project is exposing our participants and giving them this kind of an exposure at Linton's Academy has given them an opportunity to interact with who is who in this country, and therefore they are acquiring that self-confidence that is required or that is necessary for them to become self-sufficient people.
We train well-behaved and industrialized students who come out of Linton's with very broad knowledge on more on beauty and health.
We are also very great being from 4 leavers to speak to these other young students who are still learning, to show them that after Form 4 there is something they can do.
We are so privileged to be one of the Compassion beneficiaries. All I can say is thank you to the Compassion.
Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse has opposed the proposal to scrap the NGCDF Constituency Development Fund, saying the move will set the nation back in terms of development. Speaking in Gu, Masumba Ward in his constituency, while releasing a 75 million shilling bursary to secondary school and college students, Mwengi Mutuse said strategies should be put in place to increase more funds in the grassroots areas instead of removing existing ones, as many Kenyans living in the grassroots areas need more development.
Wale ambao wanasema CDF ivunjwe, kwamba most visible practical projects zenye zinaonekana mashinani, kama vile tumepeana basari hapa leo Kibwezi, project nyingi ni zile zinafanywa chini ya miradi ya National Government Constituency Development Fund. Kweli si kweli? Kwa hivyo nataka tusisumbuane akili. Tumuulize aliyekuwa Prime Minister wetu wa kitambo Raila Odinga, tunakuheshimu. Ile CDF sheria uliacha wakati ulikuwa bungeni 1997. Wakati ulikuwa bungeni 203, ile sheria ilikuwa ya CDF, tumeshaibadilisha. Sio ile ilikuwa kitambo. Kwa hivyo nataka niwaulize tujue kwamba Kenya ishabadilika. Hata tunataka hii pesa ingine hata iende hata MCA kukuwe na pesa katika ward. Na ingine iende chini zaidi. Si pesa irudi na Nairobi. Tuko pamoja ama hatuko pamoja?
24 minutes past the hour. We need to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we have a lot in the world of business and sports.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good Morning Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
In Dada's Diaries, we open the pages of life one story at a time. Unfiltered, unscripted, and unafraid.
We were sleeping actually on the floor with the mattress. Alafu watungi afford hata kununua blanketi. Kwa tumekopa kwa duka mpaka ile hawezi rudi hapo tena.
Kutoka Makadara mpaka Kileleshwa.
You can imagine.
You know, the proper from rags to riches story.
Yes. We were supposed to do a sacrifice of goat. And he was supposed to give gold, real gold, to do the sacrifice. And someone is going to lose their life. How do you know you're going to die and you're okay with it? Through sacrifice. When they were doing the sacrifice downstairs, I was just thinking he's sick. He just got sick. When we got to the hospital, they did all the tests. He passed away.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, the fight against malaria has received a major boost in the area of research after a section of Mount Kenya University students got the opportunity to diversify their research skills on the disease in Germany. The research aims to, among others, understand the interplay between the malaria parasite and the immune response during pregnancy. According to the university's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Nogartias Jaganyi, the program dubbed Africa Meets Bavaria will help foster a vibrant research culture among students. Among areas that researchers will give a weighty focus is on the impact of malaria on pregnant women.
We have different diseases coming up. A few years ago we had the COVID-19, and even today we are facing threats of other diseases. And even the diseases that we already have, like malaria and other bacterial infections, they are becoming resistant to current treatments. So we have to continue doing research so that we find better treatments and we're able to tackle those emerging challenges in more informed, better ways.
Give a better crowd, please.
A section of civil society groups have challenged the incoming individuals into the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is the IEBC, to adhere to high standards of integrity to nurture citizens' confidence within the institution. The lobby groups further called on the institution to adhere to fully to constitution of the and ensure fairness in the electoral process in its entirety. They were speaking during a one-day forum organized by ICJ Kenya chapter.
We must exercise separation of power, but also people who occupy offices must live by the integrity that those offices call for. Integrity is not just about being corrupt, it's also having the value system.
It's not because we are lacking the laws. Constitution is a very good constitution. What we are lacking is adherence to what the constitution provides and the laws. So where we are right now is that some of those gains are being eroded.
Has been given the task of organizing electoral processes in this country, has a patriotic duty to do that which is good in the interest of the people of Kenya. Politicians will try to malign and to manipulate members of the Electoral Commission.
Promoted and supported ICJ Kenya's work by giving his ideas.
Now let's take a look at what is happening at the devolved units. The government has resolved the long-standing funding challenges that had stalled critical infrastructure projects nationwide. This move marks a turning point for the country's road sector, particularly in the Nyanza region, where construction has resumed on one of its most strategic highways. Details of this and other stories making headlines is in our county's news roundup.
During an inspection tour of the reconstruction of Mamboleo Junction, Miwani, Chemelil, Muhoroni, Kipsitet Road, Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of Performance and Delivery Management, Eliud Owalo, confirmed that funding bottlenecks have been addressed and that the development will unlock the economic potential of the entire sugar belt and boost regional trade.
The government has now unlocked the funding challenge for the road sector that we have been witnessing over the past 2 years. And I want to state that all stalled roads in the country will be completed in the not too distant future because the funding challenge has now been sorted out.
In Taita Taveta County, a grieving family from the Maktao area in Mwatate constituency has raised concerns over legal and ethical burial practices after discovering that their relative was buried secretly without their knowledge or involvement. The deceased Pastor Edward Maganga is said to have died under unclear circumstances.
Koti ya Voi inatakana ifanywe mabadiliko kwa sababu sisi tumenyanyaswa sana. Hatujasikizwa, sisi tumeamua tuje tufukue mwili wa mpendwa wetu, tumpeleke hata kama ameharibika, amefanya nini wetu. Hatutaweza kubali akuje kuzikwa kwa msituni hivi.
And the Senate Committee on Delegated Legislation, Chairperson Senator Mwenda Gataya, has expressed they are committed to ensuring that the county assembly's budgets are not constrained as has been the norm in most counties.
Ni jambo ambalo tutalichukua kwa makini sana. Tutalipeleka kwa Senate
tutapeleka ile kamati ambayo ni kamati husika, kamati ya fedha, tuone kama kwamba tunaweza kuweka uwiano kati ya county assemblies na governors.
Meanwhile, a family in Machakos County has been left in shock after their donkey turned against them, biting a mother and her son. The mother says the donkey bit her, injuring both her hands, before turning on her 38-year-old son. He is currently admitted to the Machakos Level 5 hospital.
Na ndivyo nataka kuhimiza mwananchi yoyote ya kwamba akifikia kuumwa na mnyama yoyote, ni vizuri hata kama atapata first aid kwa private hospital, a make sure ya kwamba ameenda a public general hospital.
Elsewhere, a burial dispute has erupted between the mother and the estranged biological father of her 13-year-old daughter who was fatally mauled by a lioness 10 days ago in Kajiado County. Peace Mwende, a grade 7 pupil at Olo Sirkon Primary School, was attacked while staying at a servant's quarters on a private ranch in Twala, Emakoko sublocation, where she had gone to visit her father.
Mtoto nimelea peke yangu, mpaka pahali amekuja kuniacha. Kuna watu wanampush. Tena angeuke ile tuliandikiana pale kwa ndio. Anasema hakuna kitu tuliandikiana. Hao watu wanataka tena kumpindua mtoto aziko huko kwao. Sasa hiyo ndio imenipea stress na amani.
Finally, in Kiambu County, students of Mount Kenya University have received a total grant of 30 million shillings to support various research projects. The funding is intended to foster a strong research culture among learners while contributing to the wider advancement of society.
The kind of research projects that are being undertaken are really impacting on the community. There is the issue of the malaria, which you know that it is really a problem in Kenya, and our researchers are busy doing that kind of work.
And now let's get down to business. The Chinese ambassador to Kenya, Guo Heiyan, has hailed President William Ruto's recent state visit to Beijing as a major success. The envoy has further revealed that China and Kenya signed several cooperation agreements, laying a solid foundation for future bilateral relations. The ambassador maintains the strategic mutual trust between the two nations has reached new heights, with a commitment to further expand the scope and depth of cooperation.
Last week, President William Ruto arrived in China for a state visit at the invitation of President Xi Jinping, where the two leaders struck various deals as a crucial step towards bolstering the two nations' partnership. At a press conference in Nairobi, the Chinese ambassador to Kenya, Guo Heiyan, revealed that these agreements aim to strengthen practical cooperation in infrastructure, trade and investment, the digital economy, finance, education and talent development, among other areas, ensuring prosperity for both nations.
In the field of investment, China encourages more leading Chinese enterprises to invest and set up business in Kenya to facilitate Kenya's endeavor to expand its competitive production capacity. In the field of trade, China is willing to import more fine Kenyan products such as avocados and anchovies and promote the balanced and sustainable development of bilateral trade.
She reiterated China's readiness to enhancing regular policy communication with Kenya, advance high levels of connectivity, facilitate sustainable and smooth trade, explore diversification of finance, and foster the friendship between the two sides for generations to come.
China is a country that delivers on its promises. China is ready to work with African countries, including Kenya, to achieve more early harvests of the outcomes of the Beijing FOCAC summit. For greater benefit of African people, continue to send a powerful message of China-Africa strengths through unity as well as solidarity and cooperation, and spearhead of Global South cooperation through the high-quality China-Africa cooperation.
At the same time, the envoy reiterated Beijing's condemnation of what it describes as blackmail by the United States amid the ongoing trade war between the two nations.
The tariff war was launched by the United States. China's position is consistent and clear. We will fight if fight we must. Our doors are open. If a negotiated solution is truly what the US want, then it should stop exerting extreme pressure and stop threatening and blackmailing China and seek dialogue based on equality, respect, and mutual benefit.
John Kahiro for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, manufacturers in the automotive industry have commended the government for progressive policies that have facilitated the development of electric vehicles in the country. Last year, Kenya became one of the few African countries to launch the national e-mobility policy to drive the growth of sustainable mobility. Speaking during the launch of the first electric vehicle manufactured in Kenya, Nick Foley, operations manager at the EV Explorers, more efforts are needed to sensitize the public on the importance of switching to electric vehicles.
The government is investing significantly in climate actions. This is one of the results of the policy of His Excellency President William Ruto to ensure that Kenya continues providing leadership in matters of climate action. The first electric vehicle built in Kenya.
We do have to import minimal parts. Batteries are not made in Kenya yet, but 90% of this vehicle is manufactured and made in Kenya by Kenyans. We have a lot of entrepreneurialism here, and we have a great work ethic in this country.
There is a growing urgency to harness the power of artificial intelligence to transform education and prepare learners for the future. Speaking during a conference on harnessing artificial intelligence AI for innovation in education, Catholic University of Eastern Africa Vice Chancellor Professor Stephen Bugwa says learning institutions should embed AI in teaching and learning processes to enhance outcomes.
The rise of artificial intelligence is redefining how education is delivered and experienced. Experts say modern learners must be equipped with digital skills and innovation to thrive in an increasingly tech-driven world.
So that every teacher is equipped with AI enhancement to be able to teach using AI. And then two, the second area is in learning, so that the resources that are required to make this a reality, we ensure that every learner has got those particular resources and they are enhanced.
AI is here to stay with us, and therefore the best thing to do is that as a training institution, it has to be integrated and factored in the lives of the students whom it affects on a day-to-day basis, but also in the mode and manner of studying in the university.
The Catholic University of East Africa is now integrating AI-assisted learning technologies to personalize education and improve instructional delivery. This approach is designed to let students learn at their own pace while receiving support tailored to their unique learning needs.
Now smart classrooms, we are putting up maybe from July, complete about 37 lecture halls, new block with the smart classrooms. And that is our commitment to make sure that our learners take the advantage of the best.
About 11% of the entire children with disability are special needs children. How does this happen? And any child left behind means we're delaying in attaining the SDGs. So we need to localize. We need to localize our development of AI tools so that we attain the SDGs.
Our company, Ottomans Institute, has created the world's first digital human teacher, completely powered by AI, back in 2021. So way before ChatGPT came to all of us, right, in November 2022. Now, fast forwarding to where we are now, what does system look like? It contains basically two sections. One is a dashboard. Here the educator, the university, the school, the NGO, the government, they can upload their content.
Through a growing partnership with the UK-based Ottomans Institute, the university aims to democratize access to quality education and enhance the role of teachers. Trevor, for Lunchtime News.
Now, lenders have been encouraged to curate specialized financial packages that will make electric motorcycles more accessible to operators. Vifa Consult CEO Victor Otieno says enabling more favorable payment terms options allows riders to start earning immediately while enjoying lower operational costs, zero fuel expenses and reduced maintenance needs, making the shift to electric both practical and profitable.
The National Transport and Safety Authority reports that approximately 2.5 million border borders are registered in Kenya, with 1.8 million currently active. A report by Car in General shows 9 out of 10 border borders are used for commercial purposes, representing over 1 million jobs created, contributing at least 3.4% of the country's gross domestic product. However, prohibitive interest rates, high insurance premiums and limited financial literacy hinder the border operators' ability to access affordable credit. To bridge this gap, players in the industry say policymakers should collaborate with financial institutions to create subsidized loan programs that will cushion both the lender and the operator from default risks.
There is need for concerted effort both from private sector as well as from government in terms of providing incentives that would allow for borders to transition in a manner that makes economic sense.
Additionally, the government has been urged to fast-track the installation of critical e-mobility infrastructure such as battery swap stations, allowing users to quickly extend their range without lengthy wait times.
So one of the key areas is infrastructure for swap stations. And one of the challenges that we are facing in terms of expansion is we do not have an universal swap station. So different players have different swap stations. So it is making it impossible for this to expand further. So for these players to come together and have universal swap batteries, then that makes it easier for us to expand in different areas.
The remarks emerged during the unveiling of the new Border Boom report, highlighting the need to power the sector's potential through sustainability. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Now, with the technology advancing, the focus is on how technology can be leveraged to improve business in the country and, of course, ensure that our economy grows, with the projections from not just the Ministry of Treasury as well as from the Kenya Revenue Authority. How can it reach its target, especially by employing technology in the sector of business? Joining us is Robert Manyala, the Director at Robi Search Technology. Robert, good afternoon and thank you for making time for us.
Good afternoon to you.
And maybe tell us a general outlook. How is the sector faring on as we speak?
Thank you so much. My name is Robert Manyala from Robi Search Limited. The tech industry in Kenya has really made things much easier for people who have chosen to go that way. And that's why we say we lose 100% of opportunity of what we don't try. So for people who have tried to adopt technology, indeed, they are booming. But also those that have refused to adopt, some of them have challenges. Indeed.
And maybe what have you been able to deduce? Why are they not employing technology in this 21st century? Of course, with the advent even of coming of the artificial intelligence, why is that the case? Why are they not adopting to technology?
Thank you so much. I know, and it is said that 90% of business that do not see 3 years and above is because of fear. 90% of business that do not adopt technology is because they fear. And I always do encourage people that 90% of our fear do not happen. So you realize somebody says that maybe it is not easy to acquire technology, it is maybe expensive to acquire technology, but the question is, it is more expensive not to have it than to have it. For example, if you are in an hotel industry, you're supposed to use technology to ensure that you have proper record keeping, but maybe it is going to cost you 10 bob, and you feel like 10 bob is very expensive unto you. But at the end of the day, how much do you lose? So many business people have a problem, and they only know how much they make, but they don't know how much they lose. So for people who have done a lot of calculation, after knowing that you are losing more than you are gaining, they are now adopting technology. So one of them is fear. Then number two, they do not know the final outcome. For example, they'll want other people to try first for them to try second or third. But I always encourage people that even in Kenya, there are some innovation that were first done in Kenya, and it has become massive. So there's no fear of trying to innovate new things and try to do things differently.
And maybe tell us some of the benefits that people see when they inculcate these technologies into their softwares to improve their businesses.
Indeed, when you decide to adopt technology, one, you increase productivity. Many business owners close because they realize at the end of the day, there's no productivity. They are working too hard. So the question is, are you working in your business or on the business? As a business owner, you're supposed to work on your business. So technology is going to help you have more time to think on how to move your business to the next level. Number two, you can have also more time to do research and get to know what are your competitors doing or other people. So you'll not have that time if you don't have technology because you have to be there all the time. I know people who do not go for leave from the beginning to the end of the year, simply because they believe they're the only best people to run that business. If you see people who have so many branches, they knew from the first day that when I use technology, I can now replicate myself into many businesses. So through this, we are able to employ more job opportunity. People are able to create more job opportunity as much as possible. The third thing that they are benefiting from, they are going to at least be free. Most people are stressed when they run their business. Assume sometimes you have not used technology. Maybe stock is stolen, time is stolen. But when you use technology, you can manage everything from your phone. You can have more time to spend with your family because you have adopted technology. And finally, when you use technology, you can make right decision. It is either logic or feeling. 90% of people make decisions because of feeling, not logic. Technology will give you a report, a dashboard where you are able to know if it is my stock, what is fast-moving good, slow-moving good, if it's a point of sale, if it's a bulk SMS or even a website. Because many people also believe that even having a website is a problem. I do encourage many people that please have a website because you are able to sell your product worldwide. And that is economy to Kenya. That is job opportunity to Kenya. People say sometimes there's somebody crying somewhere that I don't have a job because you have refused to automate, increase profit, and employ more people.
Okay, Robert, in just under 1 minute, tell us what are some of these technological advancements at Raw Research Technology that has been, of course, made so that it can help people at the end of the day in under 1 minute.
In under 1 minute, what we have become so innovative. So we have realized we came up with something called Sojap to be used in various gates instead of using normal books and to capture people through normal books to capture data. That's one thing. Also, there's a technology of ERP, or point of sale, or what is called scan to pay. Do you know many companies are really falling down because when people say it's pay through this pay below till number, it is not there. So as Raw Research Limited, they have this thing called scan to pay. So you just scan and pay because many people are really suffering. People are paying through till number or pay bill, but not theirs. Employers have come with their own. Or even biometric system, where you have to come to job and you just put fingerprint because there's something called productivity time. How much, if any case I come 1 hour late, do I lose for you? Sometimes you could be bringing from me 1 million, but then the day you have lost 20 million. So how much do you lose? And the question is, are you digitally fit? Are you tech fit? Robert Manyala from Raw Research Limited, where we make you tech fit.
Well, thank you so much. That you've just heard his name is Robert Manyala. He is the director at the Raw Research Technology. Thank you for making time for us this afternoon. Now let's directly jump into the world of sports and take a look at what is happening in that field, where an impressive field of over 200 golfers are set to descend on Thika Sports Club this weekend for the 8th leg of the 2025 the NCBA Golfer Series. The golfers will be taken on clubs challenging par 72 course, all competing for top honors and the coveted qualifying slots to the NCBA Golfer Series Grand Finale last this year. Among the players to watch will be Isaac Chiragu and Betty Nderu, familiar names to the club and to the series. Both golfers emerged as Division 1 winners in the men's and ladies categories respectively during last year's edition, and will be looking to build on their past success as they compete on their home course. This weekend's event follows the golf park leg held last weekend where Martin Muritu and William Aluko stole the show. Now, of course, I'm sure so many people are happy about this, but let me remind you, there is a return leg. Here is what is happening yesterday night at the Emirates Stadium.
This trophy. Scalia. Hey, good save. And on the return, it's Fabian Ruiz who hits the post, and Arsenal get away with it. And the flag now goes up. Saka again wriggling and scooping to Martinelli, who can't quite reach the woodwork. Well, twice in the space of 2 or 3 minutes.
Over the top, so unlucky, but what a touch and what a run.
Well, let's meet at the Parc des Princes in France as we're set to face the Paris Saint-Germain again in next week's qualifying match to the finals of the Champions League. That concludes, of course, Barcelona and Inter Milan will be facing off in their first leg of the semi-final of the UCL this evening. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Lucy Mora. Good afternoon for now.
Wellness is important in our daily lives so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have by regular checkup. People don't know they have hypertension. People don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic. I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Well, go on, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to share down the place with nothing but the best of smooth radio vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunongwa. Hadija ai, mani especially ukisonga.